Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Goblin Quest, where goblins go on a quest and quests get goblined. So we're putting the band back together to go play some Zorbla music for Boss Bluggersnick. I like that we're playing Zorbla music, and that what seems to be the central tenet of Zorbla music is whatever music you're playing with whatever instruments you found.
We
Um,
we didn't think
which
to
is good.
ask what it is.
Well, why would that matter?
Yeah.
So there we go. We have so far found out what makes noise, which is a pretty good first step to forming a band. Acquired what makes the noise, which, just to summarize, and again, we haven't really brought up this like gnome we've got tied up who we're beating with the head of his decapitated brother. But we've got that. We've got sword that we've been using to smack ourselves with and make a nice flat smacking noise. And we've got a long tetanus-ridden corroded metal pipe. So those are all good things. We've rehearsed with those. There was a brief incident with an undead walrus, but we got past that fairly quickly. We then decided on a name, which is Pig Hitter and the We Saw a Wizard. Which, you know, it very much does what it says on the tin. We then assembled our costumes, which, I mean, I was a bit disappointed with the costumes because, to be honest, I feel like we've gone a bit generic, you know, in wearing wizard's underwear soiled with radioactive snail slime, broken off beer bottles, which we rammed into our faces, stones which we've melded to our feet with said caustic snail slime, and the lead singer, I mean, smearing shit all over your face is it's just really 80s, isn't it? Like I don't know, I just feel like we could have pushed the button, but that's fine. You know, we do the best we can do is what we have. And then we did a bit of promotion for the gig by randomly fighting someone who'd dug their way out of a game of paranoia, acquiring their laser pistol, flinging one of our goblins who thinks they're a vampire through the air. Inga managed to completely shred her microphone by the course of that. So really, it's been a tour de force, is what I'm saying.
Forgot we smeared letters on the walls.
You did also, yeah, but when has that ever been considered any kind of promotion? We did smear letters on the walls with dirt. They weren't anything to do with the gig, but the principle was still there. So now we have our final task of finding a stage and carrying out the performance. We've got 3 different stages for that. I keep saying stage for different things, which is probably confusing for people. You need to find a place to perform. That's the first stage. Then you need to get a fight going there to drag lots of people in to see what's going on. And then you need to play the actual gig. And there we go. We've got a smattering of goblins, some of whom have died, but that's fine. You know, they're goblins. That's what happens. And now, can anyone remember who went in the last round?
I think Holly had gone and the rest of us hadn't.
Right. Great. Has anyone got a good, quick idea for finding a stage, perhaps with the use of a laser pistol, which still has some charge? Or shall I randomize?
Well, did we have a general sense of the direction of where?
I'm going to say you last saw Boss Bluggersnick near the Bugbear's dog kennels. Shall I randomize? I'll randomize.
Yeah, do
that. Cool. Justin, we keep randomizing
every time.
These things.
You know, I think you're just trying to kill me. I think this is what's happening.
I don't know what you're talking about, and there's definitely no history there. So it's just, yeah.
Smack is an arrogant goblin, and it really does believe that, you know, you play the music, they come. And so once we get vaguely towards these kennels, Smack is going to start digging a moat around a prominent place because it involves digging. It keeps away the things that are going to have a fight around us. It involves digging. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Given that your something good is a laser pistol, are you perhaps using the laser pistol to help you dig, whether that be blasting the dirt away or simply using it effectively as a mattock?
I think the blast in the dirt way does sound really fun if that is an option.
It's of course it's an option. Give yourself the roll. Then can we remember if there was oh, it's something good. So take +1s to everything.
Yeah. So I'm going to roll 3 dice because of the various things that I'm pretending are justifying. I die.
So you roll 2 1s then.
I did, and a 6 though.
Hey, okay. I have an idea.
I am going to use the hat though. I am going to use the hat. I think because I do like Smack. They're my favorite goblin. And...
Okay. So that's that's very very Lindsay Buckingham.
You didn't consider the headphones, did you?
I did. I very much did. That's what makes it good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I like this. This will do. I'll just angle my head.
Okay, so give us your reroll.
Oh, I didn't factor in the something good though. I still would have died, but that would have been fun. Now I get something good and a success. 1 success. That's what I've got.
Okay. What did you get on your other one?
Well, it counts out something bad.
All right, so you got some good and a success. Okay. So yeah. Do you want to narrate or shall I?
I'm kind of busy, so if you
narrate. Yeah. Smack runs over to the bugbear dog kennels and starts firing wildly into the ground in a roughly semicircular manner with the laser pistol, which causes vast amounts of dirt to kind of spray up in the air, as well as some other to be vaporized. And before long, there is a serviceable moat that will definitely prevent any small goblins from getting access to what's within it. And I will say that there's something good. The pistol is out of charge, but the something good is that Smack, whether on purpose or entirely by accident, has managed to make the moat around the kennels themselves. So perhaps
that's pretty good.
The kennels could be where you perform from, but that's entirely up to you. I will say that nearby the dog kennel is a number of low, scrappy bugbear buildings, as well as the Dun Inn, and there's a lot of noise coming from them, a lot of rowdy noise as if bugbears are gearing up for something, but it's probably nothing to worry about. But with the revelation that the kennels themselves might make a good stage, does anyone want to volunteer to go next, or shall I roll for the 3 people who are due an action?
Roll.
I will roll. It is Stephen, Pig Hitter.
Pig Hitter. All right. Well, I guess if we're going to use the kennel as a stage, we need to find a way to get up onto the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is going to be some climbing or some form of cunning, which he is in no way qualified for.
Because bugbear hunting dogs are pretty big, certainly bigger than goblins. They have mouths bigger than goblins, as many goblins find out to their regret. Justin, that's amazing. So yeah, what's finding a way on top of the dog kennels? Go for it.
Yes. No, that's just injury.
There was it did have something good on it as well, I believe, but
that's still just an injury.
It's still an injury.
I rolled a 1.
Cool. Me or you?
Go for it.
I think it's pretty straightforward. Pig Hitter takes a great big leap to climb up the dog kennels, and honestly, just kind of Wile E. Coyotes themselves on the side of it, and then a slow slide down the side of the dog kennel. No one remarks on this. It's fairly typical goblin behavior. There's no something, but it's just is what it is, right? Just a flat.
It was just a straight up. I injure myself.
Just a flat roll resulting in a flat Pig Hitter. So.
Yeah, and it's sort of, I guess, it's kind of poop and like blood.
yeah, and snail juice just like sliding down the side of the kennel. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Inga and John, anyone want to go next, or shall I roll? I'll roll. John, Nod the Maggot Eater, find a way forward for us.
I think throwing ourselves wildly at the kennels didn't help us get up. So I'm gonna try and find something or someone to climb onto the kennels.
Sure, absolutely.
Whether it is stacking a load of corpses or whether it is bullying someone else to standing there.
Yeah, or maybe climbing one of the dogs.
Yeah, I'm sure that will work really well.
Yeah, they're clearly the right size.
I don't think I have anything to help with that.
Okay.
So just roll. It was a 6.
It was a 6. Well, do you want to do it?
Yeah. No, I can't think of anything.
No,
Backed
okay.
out.
Absolutely, sure. Well, I think you find that the absolutely perfect thing to climb on top of it is a big pile of dirt that's, you don't know where it came from. It's almost as if someone ran round the dog kennels with a laser pistol blasting into the ground. But either way, one of the kennels has a big pile of dirt at the side of it. You scrabble up that victoriously and stand on top of it, a full 3 or so feet above the entire battle camp. Looking around, you can see things you'd only have dreamed of, like a snail pit, and the buildings that were right next to you for the last several minutes. And you can't help but wonder if a goblin has ever been this high before.
It's amazing.
I think, of course, was once told that vampires have the ability to commune with animals and control them, obviously. And being the hairy vampire that, of course, is, I think especially feels an affinity with the dogs that are in these kennels. And so I think, of course, is going to commune with the dogs to ask them as their like alpha spiritual and magical leader vampire dog thing to help lift up the rest of us either on their backs or to throw us up onto the top of the kennels.
Sure, absolutely. Again, seems a flawless plan with no drawbacks.
I'm gonna take 3 dice. I'm gonna add my hairy and my vampire to this. Can I add incredulous as well? Because someone told me that that's what vampires do. I'm gonna take it.
Sure.
Yeah.
This seems like a very credulous action to take. Yeah.
Yeah, that 4th one was a 1. So altogether, I've got a 1, 2, 3, and a 6.
Okay. Well.
So
well, I have something, but go for it.
The 3 isn't something bad as well, is it? So I think what happens here is that, of course, definitely gears up the dogs for something, and maybe and I think that they quite roughly grab, of course, and someone else, whoever wants to randomly be, and tries to like rip and ravage and eat me, and in doing so manages to kill, of course, but manages to successfully throw both my corpse and the still alive body of the other goblin up onto the top of the kennels to join Nod on the stage. So there is now a goblin corpse taking up some room and stinking up the place a bit, plus one of the other goblins.
And shall I just straight up roll for which other goblin?
Yeah.
Okay, pig hitter. I mean, you were lying on the floor anyway, so the dog probably thought you were already dead and just whipped what they thought was a corpse up onto the top of the kennel. So now we have Yas the Credulous. What's Yas's thing, Inga?
Yas is super sweaty, just dripping. Like just sheer enthusiasm, and is just like vibrating with excitement and just like a constant sheen of sweat.
Yeah. So there was a something bad on that roll as well, right? Produced by that. Am I right in saying? Yeah. Okay. So the something bad that happens, you still, there's a somewhat of a success. 2 goblins and a dead goblin are now on top of the kennel. But the noise that you produce from the dogs getting a bit aggravated seems to draw the attention of some of the bugbears who are already pretty rambunctious inside the buildings nearby, and they pour out of those buildings drunk and violent seeming, and they are shouting something about you're not sure exactly what they mean by this, but the words definitely sound something along the lines of free-range goblin hunt, which they seem to be engaging the dogs. The dogs are already a bit worked up, but it seems like a bugbear goblin hunt where dogs will be used to chase you down and tear your throats out is now being planned roughly through the area in which you're trying to perform a musical gig. So there's that.
Good thing we have a pit.
Good thing you have a pit, which will definitely stop anything bad happening. So who is left with this, if anyone? I've kind of lost track of this one. Holly.
So I'm going to try and run towards the kennel, and I'm going to use the goblin. No, the gnome that I've got, the still alive gnome. I'm going to try and pole vault onto the top of the kennel.
Sure, absolutely. So go ahead with that roll. There is a something bad in effect, so that's going to be -1s.
Pole vaulting involves running very fast, over caffeinated.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. I think that's all that's going to apply. Okay, cool. Let's see. Okay, so we got a success because I rolled a 6 that goes down to a 5, so we're okay on that. I did, however, roll a 1, so.
And is Flunk already injured, or
Flunk is already injured?
Flunk is already injured, so that's fine. Me or you?
You go for it. You go for it.
Sure. So, Flunk a full run with the bugbears getting all rambunctious behind them, the dogs jumping around, barking, kind of stands back, measured, staring at the kennel, gnome braced under your arm, other dead gnome's head like slung at you, what passes for a belt, and starts to like pace forwards. And you don't know if it's because like Flunk is touching with radioactive intensity into some universal kind of musical sensibilities from the current quest, but in the back of Flunk's head there's definitely a kind of like kind of like playing out. Flunk at full speed rams the gnome's head into the dirt and the dog shit and all that stuff around here, flings yourself through the air and goes kind of like spinning there, still holding the gnome, loses a grip on the gnome falls and is now on top of the kennel, so the gnome and the gnome head are there, so that's a win, and then carries on going way over the kennel, and all the other goblins kind of follow your trajectory, which just ends with the very large head of a dog going
Perfect.
Plucked out of the air. Poor Flunk. But on the plus side, their death was very funny, so they definitely take consolation with that. So is this your 4th goblin? Blunk. Yep. What's Blunk's thing?
So Blunk is technically armored, as in they have put tinfoil over their head.
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So fully invulnerable.
Do you want to know something else about Blunk?
Go on then.
Because this is your class. Blunk is a rummager. You are an expert in frantically, messily looking for things. Sometimes you even find them. No matter how much cursing, fumbling, and hurling things over your shoulder into a fire is required, you won't give up the search until you've got whatever wasp name, was it, or thing you set out to find. So
Perfect. Cool.
there we go. But a success nonetheless, in that one of the instruments is now on top of the kennel. New round, right? Has anyone got anything, or shall I randomize? I will randomize. So that is Pig Hitter. You are on top of the kennels.
Yeah. I guess I'll look around to see if there's anything up here that can make it easier for the remaining goblins to get up here. Like, you know, a rope or a ladder or something.
Yeah. 1 second, folks.
A set of stairs.
Yeah, that'd be good. There's no bins up here, is there, in which to lunge? So,
well, not that immediately appear to themselves. Can everyone hear me all right? Because my audio has gone. But it's basically randomly switched to anything but my headphones, and my headphones are no longer appearing on the list of devices. So, give me 1 second, folks.
will I roll while you do that?
Yeah, go for it. I don't think there was any bad or good carried. Was there anything bad or good carried over?
No. It doesn't matter either way. So, Pig Hitter is wandering around the roof of the kennels, looking for a useful way down. And those rocks on their feet just slip on some of the radioactive snail juice that drips from their cloak, and they go screaming over the edge of the kennel to their death. Perhaps on the way down, shouting,
So close.
"Come see our band!"
Absolutely. In my head as well, there are snarling and snapping dogs down there and bugbears. But I quite like the idea that Pig Hitter actually just falls 3 feet and dies from it.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. And is somehow, I don't know how we're going to do the continuity on this, but is somehow replaced by
Big Shitter.
By Big Shitter.
Sure.
I think you know what Big
Big Shitter's already there. He's just up on the roof. It's just
you guys made it.
Absolutely. Sure. Okay. Well, let's. God, Pig Hitter never even got a chance to lunge into a bin.
It's a tragedy.
It is a tragedy. So sorry, I was changing my headphone stuff while you were doing that. Did anything get rolled there other than like
no?
Literally
just Pig Hitter died.
Literally just died. Okay,
cool.
So that's everyone but Stephen and Holly is in this, right? Anyone got a thing?
So can I just? What are the current 2 tasks? Like this task and the next task? Because I forgot what they are now.
This task is finding. Well, you found a stage right now, so I guess the idea is your current task is to get up on this stage while a free range goblin hunt pours through the area around you, and like set up the stage. So the next stage is getting a fight to start.
Okay, we're basically already there. So this is going so well. Yeah, cool. I have no ideas, so I'm happy to roll.
In that case, it's you.
Flipping heck. Well, now that I'm suitably attired, I can arrogantly, I'm going to ask one of the is it bugbears to just lift me onto the stage.
Yeah,
just gonna like, just put me on. I always find a direct approach works best, and I've got the wizard's orders.
Yeah.
So that's that. I'm gonna just gonna.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna roll 3. Why not? More chances to die. And there's nothing good or bad happening here.
No.
1 success, something, and then something. I think something good and something bad, so that cancels each other's out. So it's just something good.
Yeah, sure. Me or you?
Why don't you go? I'm sure you'll do it in a more funny way.
Well, why don't you? I want your impression of Smack telling this bugbear that a wizard said to put you on top of a kennel.
I mean, I can't do a Scouse accent, but Smack's got a Scouse accent.
Okay, sure.
I can't even imagine a Scouse accent right now. That's how much of a blank I'm drawing on it.
But I do know that my character has one, even though I don't know what it is.
Well, first of all, he's a meat thief, and so he's Scouse.
Yeah, sure.
And secondly,
just a bit of classism to favour the stream.
It's not classism. They're dirty Southerners, So
where do you think Liverpool is?
Further south than I am.
Oh, sure, yeah. Not spiritually, but
not spiritually. But I know that I could add on that to what I've already said to just really boost the ratings on this one.
Yeah.
Welcome to Telling Tales, where we indulge in petty regionalism.
Hey! What more is there in life than petty regionalism? So he basically's like, we're playing this new. What's that guy? The head of the goblins, the wizards. They want us up on the stage now. That's not a Scouse accent, by the way.
Sure.
I rolled dice. That I didn't need to roll dice. But
yeah, because you've already done it. The bugbear looks confused. Shows confusion for a second on its weird canine face, and then kind of shrugs. And I mean, lifting you up is a strong term. They just kind of like grab you by an ear and lift you onto the top of the kennel. And you know what? I think they're gonna like nudge one of their other bugbears and point in your rough direction and say that the wizards want these ones kept alive, which gives but really that will only go so far to influence bugbears, because they do really like setting dogs on goblins. So they're gonna have to. The next person gets us something good, but the goodwill is only going to last so long as the dogs start to run around and the bugbears are kind of like sort of hallooing them slightly in their gravelly voices. And there's other goblins around, by the way, who are now kind of like fleeing for their lives in a semi-comical manner, apart from when a dog catches them and rips them limb from limb and sprays everyone nearby with blood and gore. So who's next? It's Inga and John, right?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm going to bravely and boldly sort of kneel down by the side and then lay all of my limbs over the side to help people like pull other goblins / instruments up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say that I get an extra dice on this because I've got big ears. So you can grab 2 hands or one of the ears.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So who's still? I think Blunk and Yas are the ones still on the ground, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, go for that. And it's a something good on it. So
in that case, I rolled a 6 and a 7.
Whoa!
So that's 3 victories, please,
that's
sir.
3 victories. And let me tell you, you're still not there. But well, you say. I mean, I can imagine what might be the case, but do you want to take it or?
Well, I think with 3 successes, I get two goblins and maybe an instrument. So like an instrument in one hand, a goblin in the other, and maybe Blunk just sort of hanging from my ears. It's like,
again, the old goblin saying, goblin in one hand, instrument in the other, see which fills up first.
Yes.
The instrument that's still left on the ground is the sword. Just so we know. So
ridiculous.
Inga, last play of the round. There's still a sword that needs getting up on top of the kennel. What is Yas going to do about this with their distinguishing feature that I've forgotten already?
They're just super sweaty. I don't think there's really much there other than, I mean, that actually might really not help in this situation.
Depends how sticky their sweat is.
I suppose so. All right. So as well, yeah, Yas does have like some sweatbands and stuff. So I think those will go around the hands to pick up the sword. And it's just gonna make a run for it to get this up there. And hoping that the sweat is gonna like just it's gonna like slick off, and anyone else who's like gonna try and stop or attack is gonna just like slide right off.
Yeah.
That's the vague hope. Let's see how it
Sure.
goes. That's a 5 and a 6.
Beautiful.
2 successes.
Beautiful. Well, that finishes the tasks. If you don't mind, I'll just narrate that. Yas with I imagine they have like some kind of cry that buoys them up, something that like keeps them going, something obvious that they might say, maybe even that people might identify with them in some way. Do you want what might that be?
I mean, yeah, the credulouses are basically Pokemon. Yes.
Yas dives to the ground, lands on the sword, but fortunately it's flat down. Grabs it, lifts their hands up. I'm imagining open palms, but it's still like stuck horribly to their nasty, sweaty palms. And makes their way back up the kennel, essentially like Spider-Man. Just... And there you are. You're all up there. And now all you have to do is instigate a fight that will presumably stand out more than the desperate blood hunt already going on around you all. So that's a new round. Shall we? Does anyone particularly want to kick off?
I've got an idea.
Okay, go.
No. Well, I'm going to start off by just shouting the names of as many clans and gangs and just basically every group that I've been aware of to get their attention, to like just try and bring them over.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the start. I think that all I've got here is the natural arrogance of Smack, the meat thief, to assist in this. I am going to take an injury. Maybe I don't know if we can work that one out, and a bad thing happens.
Okay. Well, that seems pretty in keeping with what with the plan. Do you want me to determine those things? Sure. I think Smack is straight up just, there's a limit to what goblin vocal cords can take. Or indeed any bit of goblins can take. And I think Smack, there's an odd twanging noise and something deep inside Smack's poor little useless body gives out in some sense. So instead, what you've actually done is made an odd screeching noise that, if anything, has only attracted the attention of the dogs.
I think Yas has an idea.
Sure.
I think I'm going to grab the laser pistol and try and just shoot someone in the crowd to start a fight.
Absolutely. And the something bad is very clear here because the laser pistol, as already established, is out of juice. So go ahead and make your roll with something bad, please.
So it's a 6. So I'm going to say, finding it out of juice, and just chucks it into the fray to start a fight, just clonk someone on the head.
Absolutely. Yeah, you knock a bugbear on the back of the head.
Oh, it was a 6, but something bad makes it a 5, but it's still a success.
Yeah, it's still a success.
Okay.
So you knock a bugbear on the back of the head, and they instantly like rub it and turn around to their mate and kind of like, ugh! And kind of like push them a little bit, just a little bit. But it's a start. Stephen seems to be raising his hand there.
Yeah, so to I think further instill this sense of mutual suspicion amongst members of the crowds. Like, you know where this is going, right?
You're going to throw shit at them.
Big Shitter is dropping his jorts and is just
living up to his namesake.
Is just going to unleash across the crowd from above.
Atmospheric, emotional role playing on telling tales. Tell all your friends.
I mean, I'm feeling pretty emotional.
Yep.
I think that Matt, you were like, "Oh, you're going to
disgust is
fling
an
shit,"
emotion.
and you're like, "No, I'm
It's
pulling
an
the jaws
emotion.
down. Like this is straight from the source."
Yeah, I don't think we're at all stepping outside the bounds of what was intended when Grant Howitt wrote Goblin Quest.
Or outside the bounds of what was intended when I said I'd run it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
is that what you've rolled, or is that the reaction of the crowd?
was there a good thing or a bad thing on there, or was it just flat?
No, it's just flat.
So the good news is that somewhat contributes towards starting a fight,
right?
But also something bad happens, and also somehow in this process, Big Shitter manages to injure himself.
I mean, I've got something, as I always do.
Be
We've
my
all
guest.
been there.
Yeah, I mean, when I said that something inside Smack made a twanging noise and gave out.
Oh no!
It's the same thing, but the twanging noise is just a little bit wetter.
Just internal.
Terrible. We can't believe we finally gone lowbrow.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. So yeah, I mean, I would say that the firing of kind of like fresh molten poo into the middle of this slowly growing melee has, if anything, only aggravated people's aggression, as one might maybe expect. But there's definitely at least one voice among the bugbears that shouts, "Oh, the goblin just shat on us!" And that's the something bad, is that their aggression now has a focus more than just amongst themselves of perhaps the goblins too. So I believe it's now John and Holly to go. Good luck following that. Shall I roll for it? Neither of you look happy.
I don't know I don't know how to follow that up.
Exactly. How do you follow that? Like,
well, one of you is going to have to find out, and that person is John.
Okay. I'm gonna turn to one of the bugbears and shout, I heard your friend say that he was gonna shit on you. And I've got big ears, so it increases plausibility that I would have heard something along those lines.
Folks, if I had £1 for every time
you knew what you were signing up for, Matt.
Someone shouted, I heard your friend say he was going to shit on you.
Everything else, if you hear that a lot.
Look, I grew up in Lancashire in the 80s. That phrase is just punctuation. John.
So there was something bad on
roll
that.
your dice and take us away from here.
There was something bad on that, wasn't there?
What?
Right?
There was something bad on that, yeah.
So I rolled a 1 and a 0.
That's technically 3 injuries.
Okay. You or me on this one?
I will go. I will lean forward. I will shout. I will step too far. I will slip in something that we don't need to specify, and I will tumble off the side of the kennel and land directly on my head.
Under a growing mass of dogs and bugbears and
we made Inga cry.
Okay. So you oh no. So you are now Nudge the Maggot Eater.
Yes.
Oh no. What is Nudge's and distinguishing thing.
Nudge already only has one arm.
Okay. What
he
number?
nudged the wrong person.
Is this your third goblin?
Yes.
Well then, John, Nudge is more than just a one-armed goblin. Nudge is also a caterpillar rider. Giddy up, Grubbles, you cry, tugging the reins to convince your larval steed into a steady canter, but it's no use. He's pupated and won't be doing anything until he turns into a moth in a couple of weeks. You cannot ride moths. So,
also, can I point out that the caterpillar has a longer lifespan than Nudge?
Yeah. So, if there's anything where riding a caterpillar, a large squidgy caterpillar, would help you, then feel free to throw something in. Holly.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Like you like girding yourself up. Right. Okay. Yeah. I got this.
Okay. So the frustrated attention of these various bugbears has gone from being upon each other to being squarely directed at us now.
Certainly, at least partly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try and redirect some of this energy by launching myself off the kennel head first and try and push as many people into each other as possible.
Right, via just
Yeah.
You're trying to start a pit.
Yes,
you stage
exactly.
diving.
Yeah, I'm trying to start a mosh pit.
Sure, a poo pit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think all I can imagine is just taking a big handful from the floor, war painting up, and diving off the kennel.
Sure, absolutely.
That's all I've got, I think.
Good God, I think I'm going to have to put a content warning on this on YouTube.
That was probably a good idea.
There's no modifiers, so just whatever dice you think apply.
Do we think my tinfoil hat is going to help?
Oh yeah. You're slightly armored.
It'll help. Yeah, it'll help you
indestructible.
not die in the incredibly dangerous plan you've just proposed.
Do you think it counts as
If anything,
creating a distraction?
Holly, if wearing a tinfoil hat, smearing yourself in poo, and jumping into a ravening crowd of violent people is not creating a distraction, I don't know what possibly could be counted as such.
Okay, let's see how this goes.
Could be
Don't
good,
forget
could be
you got
bad.
your reroll.
Don't know.
You got your reroll. Don't
Right,
forget.
yeah. Okay.
Reroll. Oh, this looks like the best goblin hat so far. Look
Right
at
then. Hang on, just need to rotate it slightly. No, there we go. Right. So that was 3 2s, I need to point out. So...
Sure, yeah.
Right. Okay.
To be fair, you deserved that.
This is 3 1s.
Yeah, it is. It is 3 1s.
Is it legitimately 3 1s?
It's legitimately 3 1s.
Best boss hat ever.
Amazing. Do you want this one or shall I take it?
No, you go for it.
Okay. Blunk war paints up, steadies their tinfoil hat on their head, dives out with the intention of kind of, hitting people and crowd surfing a bit, lands on a ravening surface of bloodthirsty dogs, one of which each takes a grip on each one of Blunk's limbs, and all that's left seconds later is Blunk's head with its tinfoil hat rising gently to the crest of motion and then dropping down in the middle of the bugbears, who immediately start using it as a football.
I mean, it didn't contribute anything in terms of... Yeah, but...
All one out. Yeah.
It was a great death.
Yeah.
The plan got exactly what it deserved.
Yeah.
Like,
We are all definitely going to miss whatever that goblin was called.
Whatever that goblin was called. I believe, Holly, you are onto your final goblin. Who is your final goblin, and what's their thing? Greg, of course.
So Greg, the slightly radioactive, is, quote, just a normal guy.
It's just a normal guy.
It's just a guy.
Just a normal goblin. Just an innocent goblin.
He's wearing a shirt and a tie.
Sure, yeah. I knew it was either that or something to do with sausage rolls. Okay, we're back round to the beginning of a round. We're all somewhat the worse for wear. Does anyone want to take the lead, or shall I roll?
I think Yas is gonna go in. I think Yas heard Nudge or whichever previous goblin it might have been who called out to say it was I heard your friend said he was gonna shit on you, and of course believes this. Like if Nudge said this was true, then it was true. And so Yas is gonna go down into the mosh pit to try and convince them still that this is true and trust in their slipperiness that they will be okay. It's all going to be fine.
I love Inga. We had a chance to move away from I heard your friend said he was going to shit on you. And Inga's like, no. I'm reeling it back in. We're going right back there. This is.
That's what I heard, so I know it to be true.
This is the trailer moment.
Convince the others.
I feel like this band took a real change in creative direction once Big Shitter was drafted in.
But do you know what? Do you know what though? I got a 4 and 2 5s, so it's 2 victories and something good.
It's all gone a bit G.G. Allen around here. So do you want this one?
I think I have very successfully convinced these other bugbears and goblins that, and probably others around them have just overheard this, and so the fight has increased. Like there's more people coming and being attracted by this, and I think my something good is that I've survived. I've managed to slip in and back up to.
Absolutely, you're back up on top. There is a growing crowd of bugbears and now a couple of orcs, some goblins. Many of which are kind of nudging people and saying, someone said that their friend's gonna shit on them. That's got to be worth watching. So they're all coming in. Oh, I'm 42. Right. Anyone but Inga. Who's volunteering for some action here, or is anyone? Shall I roll? I'll roll. John, how are you going to capitalize on this sudden groundswell of interest in your band's performance?
I will on one of the passers-by, where I will shout to the passers-by, and she'll be like, "Oi, go get the boss!"
You gotta get the boss, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So far,
I want to stay there
so much without the boss.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Go for it with a roll, and it's got something good on it.
Hey,
Smack is going to die to give something good. Like, can I get another bonus than this, or is that?
No, it's to give a reroll.
Oh, damn! I'm pretty sure there's one that is something dying as well, but never mind. You can sacrifice your goblin to give another player's goblin a reroll, and if you're bored of your goblin, describe how your current goblin dies suddenly and bring in your next one. When your new goblin acts, they add a dice to all their rolls.
It does say
how it helps them.
It does say if you sacrifice to give another goblin a reroll, it says, and then they get to add 1 to all their results, as though something good happened.
So. Although already
something
there's
good did
something good
happen.
on this.
Oh, okay. So then
No.
You don't need to, because I got 6.
There we go. Is that just 1 6?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to describe it, or shall I?
I can't think of anything funny.
Sure. You yell that out to go get the boss, wasn't it? That you said to a nearby orc who kind of looks at you in some consternation, and then a hobgoblin next to him who's holding like a sort of little like sheaf of very important papers and wearing a very nice little suit that he's desperately trying to keep away from all the horribleness that's going on there. And the hobgoblin just nudges him and says, Boss Bluggersnick would think someone shitting on their friend is hilarious. And the orc goes, "Ugh," and dashes off to get Boss Bluggersnick. So the three people on the bottom are left, right? Stephen and Holly and Justin. Anyone want to take a thing, or I'll roll. Stephen.
What could possibly go wrong? I have spent all of the time since my last turn trying to think of something different that Big Shitter could do on this turn, and I have come up with nothing. He is just going to get down on his hands and knees and just arc this stuff across the crowd.
Like a light show.
Yeah.
You're like a goblin Rammstein.
See if we can get the ones at the back. So
yeah.
This is for you in the front seats.
Yeah. I don't think we're bringing the jorts into this, but
I think the goblin goblin ram. I'm trying to come up with a goblin Rammstein. Is Gobstain? Is that any good? Is
Bumstain.
Bumstain. Yeah, Bumstain. Sure.
Yeah. I rolled a 6 and a 5.
Well, that completes that task. And with the vast arc of goblin excrement, is this too far? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Over the growing crowd, Boss Bluggersnick, a huge orc with massive tusks, kind of elbows his way through the crowd, and he's sort of like, "What's going on here? Someone said something about shit." And we're on to our final task. He's here. You better knock this one out of the park. And you should probably reduce the amount of poo you're producing while doing it. Or there's nothing wrong with the poo, but the poo might distract from the music.
I think we've warmed the crowd up enough.
Literally.
Yeah.
So Holly and Justin.
Yep.
Which of you is going to take the first part of the performance? I'll roll.
Yeah, please.
Justin?
Well, I guess it's a 1. Sorry. A 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sword. Yes. 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 Go for it. Go for the roll.
It's just one die.
Okay. Well, you were talking about like if you did want to.
That would take a whole turn.
Oh, you bring it. Yeah, you bring in your next one on the following turn. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a go. One roll.
Sure.
You know, I might get a 6. I did get a 5. So.
You know, do you want to narrate that, or does it?
I think I pretty much narrate. I think you saw it was already narrated, really.
A 1 and a 2 and a. Absolutely, Holly. The stage is yours. Then you know, Smack has counted it down.
Yeah, I am going to take the gnome head and, as hard as I can, I smack it down onto the other gnome's head, hopefully creating a loud screaming noise from the very in pain gnome.
This is like a goblin equivalent of starting off after the camp with a amazing little drum fill.
Yeah,
only exactly. It's you beating a semi-unconscious person with the head of their brother.
Yeah. Until they scream in agony.
Yeah. Take it away.
Okay, somehow that injures me. but I get a success. I get a 5. So, you know.
Yeah. Do you want me to?
It's going great.
Yeah, I have no
well.
idea how it injures me. So you tell me.
Sure, absolutely. I think in your enthusiasm, Greg, to stand out as a goblin known as that goblin over there, that goblin, just the normal goblin. In your efforts to stand out, you get very enthusiastic. You successfully start beating your kind of like screamy, thuddy drum fill with the head of the gnome on the other gnome. And it's only on maybe the 4th or 5th beat that you realize that you think you've probably broken your wrist with your level of enthusiasm. It's also very notable that the gnome lying down isn't moving or making any noises anymore. But there's still a satisfying wet, thuddy crack to be had. So, you know, win-win as far as you're concerned, I suppose.
Are the crowd digging it?
Let's leave the reaction of the crowd just for a little bit until we sort of... Because this is in the silence following Boss Bluggersnick shouting what's going on, you know? So let's leave the reaction of the crowd a little bit further into the victory count. I think that's the end of the round, right? Yeah, so is anyone picking up on intentionally, or shall I roll?
I think it's probably time for the pipes to come in, right? We've got the rhythm section going.
Yeah.
At some point, we've actually got to say what the band is called as well.
Oh yeah,
Somewhat important.
That's it. Yeah, he's good. Gonna introduce by shouting, "Hello, I am Big Shitter, and we are Pig Hitter, and we saw a wizard, and we saw a wizard."
Absolutely. And how does that go for you?
Well, we're definitely throwing in the need for celebrity. I am trying to work out whether. Oh, and I suppose I will pull my jorts back up.
Sure. Yeah.
And there's a bit of me that is just tempted just to go at this with incredible hubris as well and just go all out. And there's like, nothing you can do to stop me.
No, and I don't think I want to, Stephen.
No. Oh, he's real dead. Were there any modifiers on that?
God, we're just dying on stage.
No, there were no modifiers.
Okay, so that was a success, and also something bad, and also, yeah, I don't think he's made it to the end of the solo.
Sure. So something bad and a death, right? Yeah, I've got something, but do you want anything?
You go. I mean, I was just thinking he just essentially just jams the pipe into his own face a little too hard, but
yeah, sure.
And just creates an incredible kind of death warble. I mean, like,
so in my head, Big Shit has said this. And is so enthused by the reaction of the crowd, which was mostly that face, that he jams the pipe very hard at his mouth, and it goes in and out the other end. He then topples slowly forwards and is just like propped up on the pipe, gently gliding downwards as the pipe goes through. So the bad thing is the pipe now needs to be recovered. The crucial woodwind section needs to be recovered from Big Shitter's skull.
Some of the holes for playing notes are inside his head.
Yeah, and I think as you know, the death rattle of Big Shitter glides down the pipe, it is producing a kind of noise as it hits the different, the holes on.
It's all gone prog. That's what's happening here.
Yeah, this is basically Goblin Jethro Tull.
This performance is going on for a substantial portion of our lives. Our musical tastes are evolving as we mature as a band.
And it improves and develops over time. So that was just something bad and a death, right? So we can move. onto the next thing.
Yeah, there was a victory in there as well, but I'm guessing that we have not.
Oh, there was a
finished the
victory in there
performance.
as well. Okay.
Yeah.
It did
yeah,
sound good.
I rolled a lot
Yeah.
of dice.
You got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Inga, you were putting your hand up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sweaty Yas is gonna come here and see that this instrument needs cleaning off, ready for performance. So I was gonna try and yank it free and let the free flowing sweat leak through the whole the bloody holes.
I just want to wind back to you referring to your character as Sweaty Yas. That's my least favorite Conan side character. Oh my god, you've killed me. Oh, it's finally happened. Okay, so Sweaty Yas is going to recover the pipe from the head of Big Shitter. What is this with their sweaty hands? Oh, fucking hell.
This is something bad, right?
There is something bad. There's something bad about all of this, Inga.
Have we jumped the shark?
We've jumped the goblin.
So that 2 and a 5 becomes that 3 and a 5 becomes the 2 and a 4.
Sure.
So it's something good, but I also get injured.
Yeah, but Yas is uninjured so far, right? Yeah.
So I think the something good is I do clean up pipes, but I think maybe they're a bit sharp, the pipes. I managed to slice right through while doing so.
Absolutely. You kind of clean it off. So the pipe is available, so that's the good thing. But yeah, Sweaty's hands are just shredded to fuck. And there's the aforementioned tetanus to worry about, which can only have gotten worse after the pipe passing entirely through the head of another goblin. Frankly. Okay. I've completely lost track of the round. Is it just John left?
I haven't acted.
You haven't
Don't
acted
think.
now, this. Is it John and Justin?
I do
Have
have
I?
an idea though.
Knock yourself out.
So our woodwind is about to come in. We've got our rhythm sorted, and we've got 2 corpses, 2 wonderful crunchy corpses. So I'm going to try and add like a snare effect with the crunching.
Sure. Yeah. That sounds good. And you got something good on the roll, so.
Yep, and I've got my expertise of destroying evidence and my dream of being a gourmand.
Go for it.
Okay, hang on. Something good. Right, that's good. So I have an injury. There is something bad, but I get 2 victories because that was a 2, a 3, and a 7.
Okay. Is Nudge isn't injured yet, right?
No.
Okay. Do you want to take it?
Yeah. I've forgotten which corpses are here.
There's a lot of corpses.
Yeah, there's a lot of corpses.
Most of them have fallen off the top of the kennel, though. There are only
The
2 that were
vampire
up
vampire goblin corpse is still
The
there.
vampire goblin's still there, of course, is still there.
Yeah.
But the Big Shit is still up there, I guess.
Yeah.
And of course, I guess has the little carrot fangs
Mm.
to
Yeah.
crunch.
So I'm going to start crunching on the vampire goblin. And I expect bone and like goblin, right? So I'm crunching away, and then suddenly this unfamiliar texture of a carrot enters my mouth. I don't
Ugh.
expect. And I sort of like get it stuck in my throat. Like this just chunk of carrot. I get injured by a chunk of carrot. is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Did you roll something good with that? Did you say
I rolled something bad.
something bad? Okay. Yeah. I think that noise that you just made, that's actually not a good addition to the to the music.
No,
People
no.
are just enjoying a nice Zorbler song played on the sound of air and blood bubbles moving through the skull and the pipe or something. The sound of one dead gnome's head being beaten into another dead gnome's head. The nice crunchy noise of a vampire goblin being munched on. They're not expecting to cut through that, and it's, I mean, you are in your experimental phase, but there's a limit. There's a limit to how far that can be taken in a live environment.
I also roll a 7, so I might.
Got just do with that one. So you rolled a 7, did you say?
Yeah.
Oh, so you got 2 successes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I might be able to play this off.
You can and you do, because let me tell you, you just completed this task.
Nice.
So let me describe. Let's wrap this little bit up with a little bit of narration. All of you play your little hearts out, quite literally in some of your cases. And there's a cacophony of noise. There's the corpse crunching and the carrot choking. There's the blood bubble wind instrument section, classic. And the sound of one very sad gnome head being beaten into another one. A noise which is getting increasingly wetter and smaller. This all builds to a grand crescendo. Everyone is now staring at you with looks on their faces that, given how much you've invested in this, you can reasonably only interpret as awe. Until it reaches a natural conclusion, by which I mean Greg slowly gets too tired to lift one gnome skull and batter it into the other. A silence drops over the this open space in front of the bugbear's dog kennels, with all of them staring at you, until Boss Bluggersnick takes kind of like one step forward, looks up at you, glares over your stage, and says, "What?" And I think we'll end it there.
Which, if anything, sums up what we've created here this evening.
Yeah.
It's perfect review.
As your music evolved and became more progressive and experimental, really blind, baffled, confused distress was realistically the only desired reaction that you'd want.
Yeah, and I think it's a comment that has really interesting metatextual permutations.
I mean, makes you think.
Yeah,
mainly why have you done this?
Or what have you done?
I think that's an important question for us all to ask ourselves.
It's a thought. No one could ever take that away from you, that thinking, why have you done this? Please stop, is a thought that someone has had. There we go. If anyone has any comments or questions.
Such as, what was that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the chat has been as
if you don't have questions about this, all I can say is, why would you need to examine your life if you don't have any questions off the back of this? If anyone has any comments or questions, sling them into the chat. Obviously, thank you very much for my players. Have we got any stuff? Thank you for the follow from Chicken in the Cage. I have to ask,
why are you following this?
That, but also, chicken in a cage or chicken in the cage is a phrase I often use that I'm pretty sure I coined to do with something and to do with role playing. Are you using that as a reference, or is this just a horrible coincidence? I thought it was a widely used term, and then everyone since has said, we've never heard of that, we think you made it up. So maybe I did, and you're the only other person who's ever used this term before. So let me know if that's the case. Either way, thank you for the follow. We have, obviously there's a promo to do, but if you watch this, I don't know why me doing promo would either convince you to stay or drive you away. So it's pointless. But anyway, there's links below this. There's links to our YouTube, links to our Twitch. All of our stuff is live on Twitch. All of that then goes onto YouTube to be viewed later. most of it isn't like this. Just to really set expectations. And for half of you, you'll be like, thank God. And the other half will be like, how terribly disappointing. I'm only interested in actual plays featuring torrents of goblin shit. But either way, there's also links to our Discord, our Patreon, our social media. Get involved with those if they interest you. We run 2 weekly campaigns at the moment, which again, I cannot emphasize enough, are very different to this. One is on Mondays is Vason, which is Free League's kind of Victorian folk horror investigatory game. The other on Wednesdays is Symbaroum, which is also from Free League, which is very dark fantasy. Again, both of those feature a minimum amount of goblin shit. Although
it's a note to take into
has actually featured goblin shit, but never mind. So those are what we run on a week-to-week basis. There's another weekly series starting up soon in June. I won't go into that too much, but we're trying to get a third night on the go. We run at least one shot every month. At the moment, we're trying to run 2. Obviously, this has been Goblin Quest, one of them. The last one of them was Dungeon World, which was a few weeks ago now and is now available on YouTube. Our next one shot is on Sunday, May 14th, where Johnny will be running a self-penned system / setting entirely based on the song Bat Out of Hell. That's all I got for you. That's all I've got. I think I described it back to him and I said, I'm imagining this is going to be Brutal Legend, but with a lot more conscience operaticness and floofy sleeves and handkerchiefs. And he was like, Matt, that's on the nose. That's precisely what it is. So if you're interested in that, we're interested in it because we get to find out what the fuck it is. Then tune in on Sunday, the May the 14th, where Johnny's going to be running that a little later in the month. And this isn't fully confirmed yet, but I'm intending to run Mask Witches of Forgotten Doggerland, which is a lovely Mesolithic rules light role-playing game. So please do turn up for those. John, I dread to say this, but take us through the comments. Steve.
No.
My main question
No,
is,
we're not.
Ever recover? I feel weak. Physically weak.
I got exactly what I came here for. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally lost it at the point there. Like, that was amazing.
I was worried at one point that you were taking psychic damage, Inga.
The best bit was where Inga was like, yeah, my character's called Yas, and it's sweaty. So sweaty Yas.
Sweaty Yas.
I didn't do that deliberately.
After all the thing is,
so
right?
Honestly, it's better that you didn't do it deliberately.
Exactly,
That's better. That's so much better. Oh,
After all the shit stuff, that's what destroyed me. And can I tell you this? Like, sweaty Yas being sweaty ass, I only realized that after I'd already broken. For me, it was just the name. Just the name. That was it. It was just the name. Fuck me.
Yeah,
To
I
answer your
didn't
question,
even
Steve, clearly
just
not.
said it.
We've created art here today, and I'm proud of all of us.
Thought that we wouldn't do anything else on this channel as funny to me as Torval's cunning plan, which is still a highlight on our Twitch if anyone wants to check it out.
Is good.
But fuck me. Okay.
I like how like earlier in the week when I was doing my character art and I showed it to Matt and I was like, one of my goblins has a nipple piercing. Do you think that's too lowbrow? It's not lowbrow. Do you think that's too much for YouTube? And now here we are. Should have put more nipple piercings in.
This is definitely the most demonetized adjacent thing we've ever done.
John, you're probably going to put a Prince Albert in. It wouldn't be much worse.
What do we do now if this turns out to be just the most popular thing the channel has ever done?
Then we found our niche, Stephen,
Yeah.
and I guess I'm stuck forever doing
Whatever this is.
doing chaotic beer and pretzels scat actual plays.
Scatual plays.
Scatual play. Oh no. moving on. I found our next T-shirt design. Moving on, John. Don't kick food. As someone who will be 42 in a little under a year, I think I'm going to view this stream as a cautionary tale. Yeah.
Do that.
I mean, I've often viewed my life as a cautionary tale for my friends in any case. So, like, you know, yeah, I'm just spreading the love. Chicken in the Cage. I have 2 questions. What's the story with John and horrible koalas? I think we actually mentioned this on the stream recently, but go for it again. In what kinds of bands has Matt been involved, and did they involve fancy costumes like our delightful Goblin band today? I'll answer mine quickly. I've been in, because yours will be longer. I've been in quite a few bands. Some of them did involve fancy costumes. Mostly not me wearing them. The fanciest costume I ever wore was a horribly glaring bright orange and black waistcoat with like big spiral designs. I don't think I still have the waistcoat. It was a huge error in judgment. It did not help, even in the slightest. But if you're interested in the genre,
really, it sounds so good.
If you're interested in the genre, it was industrial metal, the finest of all genres. John, talk about koalas to us.
So I didn't actually talk about koalas in the previous stream because I didn't want to lower the tone. But it's already,
it involves
already
poo.
on the floor.
it
which is
involves a
good,
lot of
yeah.
poo.
Yeah.
So basically, I don't like koalas because they're basically horrible goblin creatures, somewhat literally following this stream. They are racked with chlamydia. They are all incontinent because of the chlamydia. In order to stop themselves from constantly pooing themselves, they have they basically keep a small plug of poop to stop more poop from coming out. So there is dry poop butt plugs. They're very stupid. I think it may be a truism. They literally have a smooth brain.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
John, I'm not sure.
They are so. They have evolved. They do not have
any
the metabolic capability to develop further intelligence. They don't have enough energy in their bodies because of their diet to be
they
anything
just
other than essentially.
Leaves, don't they?
Yeah,
No,
to be
John,
anything other than essentially an organic, basic organic robot performing what is the equivalent of basic code.
By the way, they only eat eucalyptus. Most of them are intolerant to eucalyptus that is not like grown from the area that they are from. So there's like a 3-tree genetic range that they can eat from. And eucalyptus is also actively toxic to them.
Yeah.
It pretty much rots them from the inside. But it's the only thing they can eat.
I hated koalas before we met. And it was a very strong hatred. And I wonder, I mean, I'm not saying you might have arrived this on your own because they are fundamentally detestable. But I talked about it a lot when we met. Like, you know, I don't know. Do you know where this came from you, or was it, was this, was it passed on like chlamydia from one koala to another, which doesn't actually happen because they all have chlamydia anyway. You can't pass it on if you've already got it. But do you know what the origin of this is for you?
I think it's been like a slow, gradual accumulation, like a chunk of dried poop. To stop further incontinence. I've learnt one factoid after another slowly through the years, and then one day gone, you know what? I don't think koalas are that cute. And it all came to a head when I watched a YouTube video of a koala trying to climb up a tree that already had a baby koala in it. And that koala was a complete dick and made a really ugly noise. And I went, nope, don't like
this stream has been way more educational.
We haven't even touched on the noises. And this is the thing. I think koalas are quite cute. I understand the problem with them in many ways. But I was going to say, you haven't even mentioned the fact that the noise they make is straight from Satan's rectum. Like, they make such a fucking horrible noise. Like, notoriously in this it may be different in other countries, different like subspecies or species or whatever. Notoriously, for example, in this country, foxes make a fucking god-awful noise in the middle of the night. It literally sounds like someone being fucking murdered. It has nothing compared to the noise a koala makes.
Also, the males have a smell they let out when they want to mate, and it smells like rotting meat. It's awful. It's appalling. They're not cute. They're terrible.
They are God's awful cute mistake.
I used to give a talk back at the lab I used to work at to people who I was training when we were bored doing night shifts on why koalas suck. And I said, you take the 7 deadly sins, and for every one, you can find an analog in a koala. Lust is the most easy one. But, you know, when you've got a night shift, you can find all the rest of them if you try hard enough.
And that's why Justin is now forever known to his former colleagues as that weird koala guy. Remember that koala guy?
You're joking.
Like,
that is true.
For a while
that's a real fact.
Lectured us about koalas.
That's
right.
A real
let's
fact.
move on. Let's move on from koalas here, folks. What's the next comment? Gavin Average with a wonderful goblin. That is Skarsnik and Gobbler from Warhammer. I shouldn't be fated for knowing that. Come for the goblins, stay for the foamy shoots. What a callback that is. What a callback that is to Into the Odd right there. Everyone should go watch our Into the Odd series back on YouTube. Unlike a lot of our stuff, that is also actually a funny series. So there we go. Next. The foamy shoot in this case, of course, being Big Shitter's anal canal. Said anal canal on Twitch.
That's the next place the band is going to headline.
That's a bucket list item knocked off. 42. Everyone's goblin voices sound very close to Monty Python old lady voices. I think that the only explanation for that is we're all British. And that is our
it's the
default
go-to
voice.
voice. Yeah, it's the only thing you can do when required to do a high-pitched, annoying voice.
I had a brief fucking moment of panic there when I said that, and for some reason in my head I was like, "Oh shit, is Chris on this stream? He's going to literally disembowel me for calling him British." But I'm safe. It's fine. We are all British.
We're all good.
We're all good. We're fine. Next.
There was this very important comment. I would like to say it started 2 hours into the stream.
Chicken in the cage. This is all going a bit too smoothly. Let's see how everything turns out when they try to break out a fight. You called it. You called it, Chicken.
It really took a turn there, didn't it?
It took a hell of a turn. One which we'll never recover from. Emotionally or professionally. This is if any stream we've done so far gets us cancelled.
This is public, guys. I need to reiterate. This is going on the internet.
Yeah,
like,
we operate. It's not going on the internet, Holly.
It's on the internet. This is currently on the internet forever.
Like we actually operate within the crew of Telling Tales. We operate kind of like a pretty strong anti-parasocial, anti-doxing. We don't put a lot of information out there about ourselves. This stream is exactly why. We're not going to be sending it to our work colleagues on Monday morning. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm not putting Telling Tales on my CV anytime soon.
Exactly. Include the specific link to this YouTube.
Especially not this.
Yeah. Next.
Okay.
Anything else?
There is. I'm not going to put it up because it is too far.
Okay.
But I would like us to know that we have been informed that
the government is shutting us down.
Big Shitter's actions may have had a real world analog.
That's great. Thanks everyone.
I know what's being referred to. Yeah.
Jackass.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can just say jackass and end it there. I think, but
I can't even see
that covers it
in the comment thread.
It's in the starred section. If you want to look to the side.
Okay, let's have a look.
And if you think it's fine, you put it up. But there's a difference between a goblin doing it.
Thank you so much, everyone, for. We appreciate the comment, but we'll skip putting that one on stream. So it's there if everyone wants to look. Thank you so much for being in Goblin Quest to my wonderful crew here, with various looks on their faces of shock and horror. I'm genuinely worried that Holly's never going to have anything to do with us ever again.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? Thank you very much for joining us. If you want to check out our other stuff, please do so. Our YouTube has hundreds and hundreds of videos on it now, of lots of different systems and stories. And again, really worth noting, not like this. But if you want to go check those out and see what we're like when we're trying to be actual adults, then please do so. Vason and Simbroom, I think, are both on this week, and the next one shot is Johnny's Bat Out of Hell thing, which is on Sunday, May 14th. Thanks, everyone. Take care, stay safe, and we're sorry. Bye, everyone.